Anesthesia is complex. So I always tell people when they ask, and especially patients, anesthesia is not based on one thing, just the code being billed. Anesthesia is based on two things, the code being billed and the time spent in the room with the provider. The PM system that we were on before, it was horrible in the sense that that system was not specifically built for anesthesia. So there were lots of things we could not track, reports we could not pull. We had to bill everything out in batches. We could not, just bill. If I have 5 claims, but I'm waiting on one, I can't bill out these 5 claims until I get that one. And it would ultimately end in a lot of timely filings or a lot of denials, or it held us back a lot. And so that's why we ended up looking. And when I demoed Imagine, I was like, oh my God, they understand that anesthesia is not, it's complex. It's not one code or one surgery that needs to be done. It allows me to drop down so many ASA codes for a specific surgery code. So specifically for colonoscopies, there are 3 or 4 anesthesia codes that could go for each colonoscopy code. Imagine allows me to add in those codes essentially to each surgery code, so that I'm not having to constantly say, hey, I have to manually bill this claim, because it's not an option. With Imagine, everything's an option. Like it's crazy to say that out loud, but everything is an option. Some of our claims in Athena we could not send out because there was no anesthesiologist assigned to it. In Dallas, Texas, CRNAs or anyone from an anesthesia practice doesn't necessarily have to be an MD. They can be an RN, they can be an anesthesia assistant, it can be a whole care team. Imagine allows you to make that known, that this is a care team. This is not just an MD. This is not just a CRNA or an anesthesia assistant. You have so many options at your fingertips so that your claim goes out in real time like it happened, right? In Athena, we could not do that. We could not put that information into the system. So a lot of our claims were manually billed and then having to be appealed at that moment when we got the denial, because we're like, hey, no, that's not, the system wasn't built for this, so there's no way for us to put it in there, but we have to send it out this way. So yeah, I think Imagine has grasped the concept that anesthesia is complex, and it has allowed us to either put just an MD or just a CRNA or both or a whole care team on one claim, and it builds it out on the HCFA form like it's nothing, and it's amazing. It's amazing. So I appreciate that more than anything, because it calculates the time, it calculates the units, the surgery code with those base units and things like that. So it's grasped definitely the concept of anesthesia and all its complexities. We initially started looking for a new RCM system, new PM system. We were looking for a company that understood that we're not an MD only or a surgery practice. So we needed a company that was going to take into account that anesthesia is different, right? It's not just the surgery code. It's more than that. It's time. How are you calculating the time? Is there somewhere in your system where I can even enter the time? Because in Athena, there was not. We had to manually bill the units, and that's horrible, because how do you know, right? So every 15 minutes is a unit in anesthesia. And so their system, we had to calculate that by hand. Whereas, as in demoing some of these RCM systems, because Imagine wasn't the first one that we demoed, a lot of them don't quite understand, we need that time, and we need the actual time print on the HCFA. They were in the room from 7 a.m. to 7:45. We need that on our system. When I finally got to Imagine in the demo, I was like, okay, they do understand. So, who told them? It was weird, because I'm like, how do they know? How do they know? Because someone told me originally, Imagine was radiology, and I'm like, okay, they're complex too, so maybe that's why they understand. But it is something to take into account, making sure when you're demoing that you're talking to a company that understands what you're looking for and that's willing to go the extra mile with you and not just tell you that they are. A lot of you guys as clients speak for you. Whenever I was initially looking, they allowed me to talk to other clients outside of, that were in Imagine's group, and I was dumbfounded because nobody really wants you to talk to anyone else because it could be mixed reviews, right? You never know what product you're putting out there and how everyone feels about it, behind the scenes. Imagine just swung the door wide open for us. They're like, who do you want to talk to? What do you actually do? We can put you on the phone with radiology, anesthesiology, anyone, that you want to talk to, and multiple people if you don't feel comfortable. And so for me, as the decision maker in that capacity, I was shocked, and also like, okay, I want to know more. I want to know more about Imagine, and I did research more because I was interested in a company that was willing to go that far to prove that they have a product that works and that gives you everything that you're looking for. And if it doesn't give you everything you're looking for right now, give us a chance. Let us try to use your knowledge and things like that. You guys don't box anyone in. You don't say, well, this is our system, and oh well, and I appreciate that. As a director, I appreciate that because nobody wants to feel like I'm paying for a system that doesn't help me. And that's originally where I came from and the reason we decided to leave. But as a whole, the Imagine's been great in initially giving us what we needed to feel comfortable making the switch. And there was a whole process, okay? So it wasn't, overnight. We didn't make the switch overnight, but you guys were very patient. So to anyone that's looking for a new RCM system, definitely take into account that Imagine's willing to work with you. They're willing to work with your practice to make sure that the system gives you everything that it needs, to go above and beyond, to help you feel like the system is working for you and not against you. And as a director, my biggest thing is FTEs, right? We don't want to continue adding. We want to keep who we have and add where we need. And Imagine has allowed me to be efficient in that aspect of it. So